Hi there. Today I'll be talking about using databases to conduct high-quality research. First off, let's talk about why we even need databases. Can't we just find everything on Google? The answer is no, we can't. A lot of the most powerful sources that we're looking for, in fact, are not at all on Google. This is because experts want to get paid for what they do. They put months and months into a piece, and then they publish it in a magazine or a professional journal. And if they put it on Google, they wouldn't get remunerated for their efforts. So although Google gives the impression that it contains everything in the universe, when you actually start doing research at a really high level, and you're looking for those scholarly journals and that expert opinion, you will not be able to find it on Google. On the other hand, doing a search on the internet allows you to access a whole bunch of quality information. So it is a good source, but just not a complete source. At the college level, and also in this assignment, you will find that in order to carry out the dialogue with experts that you need to have, you will need to go beyond an internet search engine. There are two different places that I would go to for this assignment. One, I would take a look at the databases at our school, and two, I would take a look at the databases at the public library. Suggest looking at four databases at our library. First, ProQuest is one of the go-to databases. It's a college-level database with a whole bunch of high-level research articles written by experts in the field, whether they be professors or people at think tanks or whatnot. It also has advanced searching available. So it is a very high-level database, the kind of database you would encounter at the college level. eLibrary is a general database that contains a little bit of everything, but it's aimed at a high school audience. One bad part about eLibrary is that the searching options are not great. It just does keyword searching, which isn't sufficient in a lot of cases to narrow down on what you actually want. But it also does contain a lot of things, so you might go there as well. We have a database called the History Study Center, and the History Study Center looks at historical information. It might be helpful. And finally, our Controversial Issues database, if you're studying something that falls into like a pro-con sort of debate style topic, for example, gun control or abortion, you might go to Controversial Issues and find information there. The public library, there are more than 70 databases. Some that I would recommend are the Magazine and Newspaper Search Master File database. This has quite a few high-quality magazines and newspapers. The Virtual Reference Library is an encyclopedia database, so you can go there to find specialized encyclopedias. And they have a tab you can click on that leads you to history databases. You might want to check that out as well. So let's check out the databases that we have here at our school. I'm going to click on the Student Support link and then go down to the library link in the menu that pops up there. And if you look at the left-hand side, you will see a list of databases that our library has. Now remember, I mentioned eLibrary is a general database kind of aimed at the high school audience with bad searching options. ProQuest is a high-level database. SERS Knowledge Source is the Controversial Issues database. And then right down here is the History Study Center. I'm going to look today at ProQuest. On this at home, you will use the username SEMHS, and the password you can get from me at school, and then you will plug that in as well. I will hit the login, and now I'm taken to the ProQuest database. Right now I can conduct just a general basic search here, or I can click on the advanced search options. So why not just conduct a general search at first, see what happens. I'm going to click on full text because otherwise ProQuest gives me articles that they don't actually have. They just have summaries of the article. So I click on full text and I'm going to enter my subject. Let's say I don't have a very specific subject right now, so I'm just trying to use this database to come up with an idea, so I'm going to just type racism. And you can see with such a general idea, 123,000 results come up. And you can see what kinds of articles they have in here. Symbolic racism and whites' attitudes towards punitive and preventative crime policies. Very high level articles that obviously you're probably not going to find on just doing a general search on the internet. Now over here on this side I can narrow down by source type. For example, maybe I only want scholarly journals. I'll click that and now I have fewer results and ones that are really high level articles. If I don't want that anymore, I can click the X and I can get the fuller array of articles. Now let's say after reading a while I have an idea of a more specific topic. I want to look at racism in the police force because it's a big issue right now, and so I want to see if racist practices in the police force could be stopped, if this violence that's occurring right now can be ameliorated. So now I'm going to go back to my search engine up here, and maybe I'll put other key terms. Now I want to really do key term searching here. I'm not going to put in other words that aren't necessary. Like I won't write my whole question, can police violence be lessened? I'm just going to write the key terms because that's how these databases conduct their searches. They ignore those other small words, or they don't ignore them, but they don't mean anything. So I add a couple extra key terms. I get fewer results. Maybe I'll narrow down by scholarly journal. I've already selected full text, and now instead of 100,000 results I have 9,000 results, a little bit better. And I have articles that are quite on topic: policing, race, and racism. Arresting power, resisting police violence in Portland, Oregon. So my articles now are honed down on the specific subject I want. Often when you're doing very advanced researching, you will need to go to the advanced search capabilities of your database. So here I'm going to go to advanced search, and now I can search not just keywords anywhere, but I could search, for example, in the subject headings. Those are the classification words that get attached to an article. Or I could search in the abstract. That's the summary of the article. So it's not going to search the whole article, it's just going to search that little summary. And if a keyword appears there, it's probably on topic. And I can also do something called subject searching. So here I'm going to click on the thesaurus, and I'm taken to this dictionary. And if I find a word in here, I'm going to search for racism, and yes, it is a word that this database uses. And then I attach this word to my search. Right down here I'm going to click on Add to Search. Now every article that's been tagged with the word racism will appear. This is much better than keyword searching, because what happens in a database like this is that professionals go and they classify each article in the exact subject that it's in. So now if I'm searching on racism using only the subject term, every article that comes up will be exactly on that topic. I won't pull up an article that's about Hollywood movies because they mention racism in one line. No, I'm going to pull up an article that focuses on racism. It may be an article that also looks at Hollywood movies, but the focus is on racism. So now I have an exact subject search, and I can then look in the thesaurus again for another subject term. Let's see if they have something on police. Yes, they do. Now let's see police brutality. Okay, that's perfect. And if I click on this yellow paper here, I could see other types of terms that I could put in. Deadly force or demonstrations and protests. Oh yeah, that's what I want to look at. So these terms give me ideas on how to narrow my search. Now in this case, I'm just going to put police brutality. And I'm going to click down here on add to search. And now I have subject term searching. And when I do the search, look at what happens now. Only 42 results come up. But hopefully these results are the exact right results. I don't have to wade through 9,000 results. I've come up with 42 that are gold, hopefully. And if they're not gold, then I go back and I maybe change some of my terms. On the advanced search page, you can combine subject searching with keyword searching, do a whole bunch of different things, and just try and try again in order to find the best sources. I can also go up here and click on these related search items that they suggest and maybe find good sources that way as well. When I find an article I like, I can click on it, I can read it, I can email it to myself, print it, I can save it to my computer. But one very important thing I can do as well in a database is I can get the citation. So let's see, actually it's the Cite button here, and I can pull up MLA 7th edition, which is a type of citation I want for high school and for English in college. And here's the citation right there, already done for me, so I don't have to worry about putting it together myself. I'm going to copy that and put it in my Word document file so that I can use it later when I use the source in my paper. On the library page on School Loop, I can click on the county library link here to get to county library databases. As you can see, quite a few databases. If I click on any of these links, it pulls those types of databases up. For example, the history databases, magazine and newspapers database, and the virtual reference library. I'll pull that one up, and then I'll have to click on it to get into it. And to go into it, you will have to use a password from your library card, or you can use the generic password at our high school. I will enter that in right now. And then I press login here. And here's the database. This is an encyclopedia database, so you can see there's all these different encyclopedias. And in this database, I usually just put a general term that works better than more specific terms. And I can find an article on racism from the Encyclopedia of Philosophy, or from the Encyclopedia of Genocide and Crimes Against Humanity. Maybe I'll also put the keyword police. Riots and rage, immigration and multiculturalism, essential primary sources, and so forth. On the database page, clicking on magazines and newspapers will give me magazine and newspaper search master file, which is where I would go to conduct general research and find high quality magazines and newspapers. And over here is the history tab, where I would go to find history databases that might be interesting for this specific class. Searching is a process of discovery. Once you find your article, you want to read it or skim it. You want to find keywords that you can conduct new searches on, and think of new areas to investigate. Think of all the 5 or 6 or 7 different things you'll need to prove in your paper, and those things will allow you to search in many different areas. and then go find more.